Welcome to NFL Daily, where we're trying to break some news while on the Peloton. I'm Gregg Rosenthal here in Indianapolis, the convention center, with my friend, not even a friend of me, just a friend, Ian Rapoport. I'm not the one breaking news while on the Peloton. You are, my friend.
That is true. That is true. It's I'm always a little bit nervous when news comes in the Peloton. I want to type it out beforehand because sometimes if there's like droplets of water, then it gets tough to hit send. You don't want to have a typo. So I had to towel it off, hit send. Kyle Pitts getting franchise tagged is the news.
Yes.
Which is like not a total surprise, but it was interesting to me because if you had asked me last year, like what is the career trajectory of Kyle Pitts, I don't know that it would be like $15 million free agent, but here we are.
I want to get into that. We're going to start with it. But I mentioned the breaking the news on the Peloton because we're texting about, did Ian get to Indianapolis in time? And he's texting us. But you literally texted, oh, yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you in an hour. We're taping this Monday afternoon. But you literally texted us within seconds of hitting this other tweet. And I've seen you do other podcasts and stuff where you're talking about that you send hundreds of texts per day. Like, you could just wait to send us something. Doesn't that make you a little anxious that you're texting us seconds before breaking news?
It makes me anxious to not text back. Like, I have like group chats with friends from home and family and like high school buddies and whatever. And sometimes I have to stop myself from responding so quickly because like in work world, I respond quickly. Because like, let's say you're talking to a head coach or coordinator, right? Like, they get to their desk, they pick up their phone, they text you back, and if you don't text back immediately, like they might put their phone over there and like that's it. So if you need something else, like you'd send the text back immediately, and like same thing with agents. Like if they're doing a deal, they might pick up the phone and be like, deal just got done, and if you have any questions, like you better ask now. Because it might be like, all right, now we're doing language. I'll see you in 2.5 hours. So,
and I respect you do that with us as well. If I send you just a random text, is XY, is DJ Reader too high in my top 101? You'll send it back right away. What we're going to do on this show. And yes, the top 101 free agents is out. Check it out on NFL.com. The final version is almost embarrassingly different from the one that I talked about on the podcast on Thursday.
You talked about your pre-version, your rough draft?
It was a rough draft, and we were kind of working it out. Ollie Connolly helped me out. He said my most Trumpian quality is that I listen a lot to the last person that I spoke with. So in this case, he was my Stephen Miller.
Sounds
and you'll
right.
see some players like Charlie Kohler and Jalen Naylor, who ended up being much higher on the list. So we're going to go through some players, but what I'm going to do, Ian doesn't know what the topics are. I'm going to go through a bunch of news. I just want the Ian take of a lot of the biggest stories in the NFL and some of the free agents. But why not just start with Pitts since we got there? You broke the news. Do you actually think he could get a long-term deal with them?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, to me, I'm always surprised when a team doesn't do a long-term deal. Because, like, all right, so, like, he's franchise tagged for, I think it's going to be about 15.5. It's almost 5% of the salary cap, which would be like $305 million or something like that. So it's somewhere between 15.5 and 16 million. So, okay, that's what he gets this year. Next year, it's a little higher. So let's say you have basically right now, assuming he's healthy, you have a 2-year deal for Kyle Pitts worth 16 plus $18 million, right? So if you get him on a 4-year deal for $17 million average, like why would you not do that? He gets happy. He avoids the whole drama. You avoid the drama. You lock in a good player. Like, it's, to me, if the value doesn't always fit the franchise tag, right? Like, let's say, I don't know, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, some like top of the position person got franchise tagged. You can't work a deal off that because it's way too low. Micah Parsons, if he had gotten tagged.
Tyler Linderbaum, it's maybe too high at the tackle position.
That's a whole different story.
We'll get into it.
I mean, he is in an interesting place as well. But, like, you should be able to do a long-term deal off the tag. So, yeah, I think there's a chance they do.
The counter would be Kyle Pitts, pretty up and down in his career. If I'm the Falcons, I'm using the franchise tag as a test drive with a new scheme, a new coach, a new GM, and a player who hasn't looked great every single season of his career. I would say he had a couple seasons where he was playing through injuries, did not look that explosive. He doesn't fit every offense, so it's unfair to the players. I think they should get rid of the franchise tag, but since they have it available to them. A 1-year deal, no long-term money for Kyle Pitts sounds perfect. He might not be a great long-term signing. I had him below Kate Otten in my top 101, which that got a lot of response.
Those ones, and I have one more thing on Pitts in a second, but those ones interest me. Like, nobody cares about Kate Otten unless you're like a Bucs fan. He might do extremely well in free agency. Like, there's always those guys.
I hope you're right.
Like, I think this time last year, nobody knew who Milton Williams was unless you were a hardcore Eagles fan. He's a rotational defensive lineman. Now, one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL
My number
this
one
year.
Player on the board last year.
And how many casual fans heard of him? Yeah. And then he made $23 million a year, whatever it was. Like, Kyle Pitts, I think it was his second year. When did he have his knee injury? Second year, right?
Yeah. I mean, he played through a lot of it, but yes.
But he had, if I believe this is correct, where he had a MCL and I think he had a meniscus. I'm not 100% sure. The injury was a long time ago. But it got kind of underreported that he'd be okay, and people thought he had minor knee surgery. He did not. He had major knee surgery, and sometimes it takes a couple years to come back. He has come back.
Good call. That was his second year when, he didn't produce much, missed a bunch of games. To me, he's always been so durable that people kind of forget that he's played through some stuff because he has not missed a single game in 4 of his 5 seasons. Okay, so that's Kyle Pitts. He gets the tag. Let's go to the top of my list. Malik Willis, number 1 overall on the list. I went with the draft reasoning that once you're in the top 7 or 8, you should just be number 1 because that's more important. And I do believe that Malik Willis can be a plus starter. I want to ask you, though, where you think he could go. I feel like the conventional wisdom is Miami or Arizona. What do you think?
So Miami, obviously, it's like, okay, well, he has his GM who didn't draft him, by the way, but did trade for him, a 7th rounder. Or helped trade for him. You had someone who's a defensive coordinator, so saw him up close. Now is the head coach, and Jeff Hafley in Miami. I don't know that Miami has the money. They are going to pay, assuming Tua gets released, it's going to be a $99 million cap hit, the worst in NFL history. And it's also like they pay him in cash too, so it's $54 million in cash. Can they afford another $35 million quarterback? I mean, if Justin Fields gets 20 a year, what does Malik Willis get? 30, 35? Like, that's my guess as to what it is.
I think Malik Willis will get a Daniel Jones, Geno Smith type of contract that he got a year ago. It could be anywhere between 35 and 42 or something.
I think that's probably right. But then it's like, can Arizona afford that?
Right. So Arizona, and Cardinals fans pushed back. Some of them liked it. Some of them hated it because I've been driving the Arizona bandwagon. That just with all the connections, Nathaniel Hackett and obviously Matt LaFleur can give him a nice recommendation. That they do have the GM that drafted him, which is interesting. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. That was Monty Ossenfort's Titans team that drafted him in Tennessee. So it's an interesting connection. And people are like, well, you're drafting a guy and it's a mystery box and it's the Family Guy meme that we have forget Kyler Murray. Like, we could have a whole nother mystery box. It could even be Kyler Murray, like Kyler Murray 2.0. And to me, Malik Willis would be a better fit, I think, and they're kind of moving on from Kyler Murray. But, yeah, they're going to be eating dead money to get rid of Kyler Murray. But you have to have a quarterback. You have to keep taking swings, and they're not going to be taking a swing with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty clear on what I believe is happening with Tua. It seems like he's going to be out in Miami. I'm not 100% sure on Arizona. Like, yes, it's the same GM. It's a new coach. It's a new offense. He got benched last year, but clearly wasn't right. And clearly his injury was worse than they thought. So he didn't, did he get benched or did they say your injury's not improving quick enough, we're just going to move on? And I don't know what Kyler Murray is, but there have been moments when I'm like, this is a guy who can take you to the playoffs, right?
Fair.
So I'm not sure on that one. The Malik Willis thing is really interesting to me. Matt LaFleur did such an unbelievable coaching job, not just helping him be successful in games, but took a guy that nobody wanted, discarded. Trading for quarterback for a 7th rounder is, basically a giveaway. And he resurrected his career. And there is a possibility that Malik Willis ends up being what everyone thought he was going to be in the draft before he just went to the 3rd round.
Which would be a plus starter. Which would be, I know Matt LaFleur set up a great offense, and that's all true. You can see it with your eyes. He's the best running quarterback in the NFL right now. I would take, if you're just asking me, he's one of the most talented, specifically running quarterbacks I've ever seen.
I don't even care about that. I care about...
That's huge. That opens up the passing game.
It is good. Here's what I care about. He came on with no warning in the absolute biggest moments and was great. That is so hard. I mean, we see it all the time. Guys who you think are good, they come into big moments, and it is different.
And high-level throws, too. Like
High-level
a variety of throws over
Agreed.
the middle of the field, anticipation.
Yeah.
I mean, for those couple of games, the offense looked just as good. So, well, we're at the Dolphins. Let's just stay Dolphins.
Okay.
Because they're fascinating to me. Your colleague, Cameron Wolfe, mentioned Minkah Fitzpatrick as a potential trade partner or candidate. He does not think that Jalen Waddle would be a guy that they would look to trade, although that's kind of been thrown out elsewhere as like a guy teams would be interested
I'm sure
in.
teams would be interested in people like really good
Like,
receivers.
what do you think the appetite for trading will be with them?
I mean, trading Minkah, I don't know if he would want to be traded. Not that it totally matters, but I mean, that's the kind of thing that makes sense. Would be on his third contract. He's a little older. He's good, but is he like the big splashy player that you have to hold on to? I'm not sure. That makes sense. I mean, they're going to need to find money somewhere. They are Chris Greer left them in a really, really challenging cap spot. And so, like, would they like to trade Minkah? Probably not. But
Well, now the knives are out for Chris Greer. You just waited till he left,
I mean, I was pretty clear about what it was beforehand, which I'm sure Chris Greer did not really like that very much. But, like, one of the things I kept saying on air, which, again, I'm sure he was not a huge fan of, was, like, when you make your team, you revamp your team in May and June, you're getting the dregs of what's available. And, like, trading for Darren Waller and having him be your number one tight end, like, it's brutal. You can't have a roster set up like that. Like, it was a lot of bad there. I mean, and the Tua contract is bad. I don't even mind that one because, like,
I do.
You sort of had to do it at the time. You had to.
Maybe, but they were all in. If you look back on that Tyreek Hill trade, I think that's where it all started. Like, in theory, they supercharged their offense, and he had great years for them. But you traded a first. I think it was 2 seconds, a couple like fourths or something. Like that was a lot and a lot of money for.
I mean,
for
look
Tyreek Hill.
at the opposite. Look at what Kansas City did with all those resources. They built a defense.
So that's the Dolphins. I wanted to mention Kyle Pitts is getting tagged. The Cowboys and George Pickens is the other guy that's almost certainly going to get tagged. Stephen Jones did speak to the media here on Monday and kind of mentioned how they're going to need the money from the Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams contracts. I don't know how exactly he's talking about opening up that money, whether restructure, or you could cut or trade Kenny Clark.
Could. Now, it would be interesting if they did that after making a big deal that he was a key piece
They
of the
also
trade.
made a big deal that they were excited to get Logan Wilson for a minute, and they cut him last week for what it's worth. But I know not the same level.
Not the same level. I mean, George Pickens is getting tagged. We knew that. I mean, I talked about that in November. I'm interested in what happens next because more so than ever, the Cowboys are cognizant of being really top-heavy and have a lot of money and a great receiver. And George Pickens for a year was awesome. And they got him for a 3. Might they trade him? Might they tag him and trade him and then use the money to build their defense?
That would
makes
make the
sense to
most
me.
sense to me. Stephen Jones did say, hey, we know George Pickens going to be here. We love George Pickens. Now that could be him.
They said the same thing about
publicly
Micah.
posturing.
Said the same thing about Micah.
Okay. That would be a fun team build, and it actually would make a lot of sense to me if they did that. But either way, they kind of indicated that he's going to get tagged, which I'm not saying that's why I put Malik Willis number 1 and George Pickens number 2, but in the end, I was like, George Pickens is going to get tagged, and when that final list comes out, because we update it, we're on top of things. As players get cut, as players get tagged, we're going to do it up until the minute free agency, until the negotiating
that's
period
always
starts.
helpful for me.
He's going to get taken off anyways, and he would have been number 1. While we're here with the Cowboys, Javonte Williams got a 3-year, $24 million contract, $16 million guaranteed. Did that tell you anything about like the running back market?
Yeah. It's always, I talk to agents a lot, and like people like you are always like, you're talking about this deal is great because you broke it, or agent's your friend, right? Here's what I would say about that deal. It takes a bold agent to step out and do the first deal in a market.
Yes.
2 weeks before free agency, before the combine. I thought that was a great deal. I thought the deal done by Nicole Lynn, by the way, of Clutch Sports, Joel Siegel did it.
You don't have to whisper it.
Joel Siegel did it several years ago.
It's fine.
That's true. Joel Siegel did it a couple years ago with Matt Milano in a deal I will never forget. It was like 4 years, $44 million. He did it before free agency. Everyone's like, what is Joel doing? And it was the best linebacker deal of the whole market that year. He knew the market, wasn't shy, did it early, and like, I'm going to set up everyone else and do the right deal for my player. And that's what I thought this was. If you're a good starting running back now, it starts at 8. Like, for like the Rico Dowdles of the world, like, this is a great deal. For J.K. Dobbins, who else is available running back? I mean, Breece Hall might get, we'll see, might get transition
tagged. I think Breece Hall, ETN, Ken Walker get paid solid money.
Ken Walker's probably above that. But like Rico Dowdles should get 8 now. This helps him.
I don't think he will, though. So I don't know the agent at all. Didn't know who the agent was, but this was what I wrote, that he was my RB5 in free agency. It was a great career turnaround, but with more expected cuts about to flood the market, they're wise to take the money now. I don't know if Javonte Williams was getting that elsewhere, so I agree.
And it keeps Dallas from moving on too. Was the other thing. They could be like, we're good. That's your best market, is the team that you proved it for. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, you're checking the news while you're doing this. I'm seeing your Instagram pop up. It says you've had 100 followers since the last time you checked in. What's going on?
People love me.
Why, though?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Actually, Ian's a good guy. He tweeted out today the top 101 list. He said he's sneaky, a good teammate.
I'm not
always
sneaky,
helping
a good
people
teammate.
out. He is just a good teammate.
I'm just a good teammate.
He's not everyone's flavor, but once you get used to it, it's like this blackjack. Have you ever heard of blackjack gum?
No, I'm not a weirdo.
For some reason, I heard someone mention blackjack gum in a podcast recently, and it's like an old, I think Jewish type of old Jews. My grandfather would have had a lot of blackjack gum. And then I went to a diner that night, and I saw it for sale, and I had a little blackjack gum, and it's licorice flavored. And at first, I thought it was disgusting, and by day 2 of it, I was like, oh, I get it. It's so distinctive that I want more of it, and that's what Ian Rapoport is like.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I think just dead silence is perfect.
Yeah.
The Colts and Daniel Jones, they're one of the most fascinating teams. I ended up putting him lower in my top 10.
Give me the 20 seconds on that first.
Well, he's coming off a torn Achilles, that he's had major arm surgery previously, and his career's been pretty up and down. So I don't know what he's going to be like this season. And he fit with Shane Steichen. Does he fit with everyone? He's still in my top 10 free agents. He's a quarterback, but I'd rather have Malik Willis. I think his ceiling might be higher. So I do wonder I have no idea what they're going to do. To me, between him and Alec Pierce both being available.
Pierce being a top receiver is not that it threw a wrench in things, because these are good problems to have, but that's pretty interesting.
He's my number 5 overall player. Michael Pittman is on the last year of his contract. Could he be a potential trade candidate? If they have to prioritize, how do you think they figure this out between those two especially?
So I'm going to be really interested to see Daniel Jones. Does he get a long-term deal before? This is basically, it's hilarious, but it's the same exact thing again. It's instead of Saquon, it's Alec Pierce. Remember, it was is Saquon going to get tagged? Is Daniel Jones going to get tagged? In the end, Saquon ends up getting tagged, and Daniel Jones does a deal, but is he going to do a deal this time? I mean, the deal could end up similar to last time, in the in the low 40s.
Multi-years? What do you think? You're holding out on me.
I mean, I think multi-year deal would make sense. He's a quarterback. He's young, he's a good guy, he works hard, and when he's been healthy, which, dude played through a broken leg. I reported that, and even still, I'm like, are we serious? Is this really what it? I had that double check, because he really played in a broken leg. That's the guy you want. It's just, can you do a long-term deal? And if they do a long-term deal, then I wonder if Alec Pierce gets tagged, taking another top free agent receiver off the market, which always seems to happen.
I think that is how it should happen. Tagging Daniel Jones doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I have a sneaky hot take I've never gotten out about the Daniel Jones situation. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. Remember how everyone was giving his friends, that he's got these super smart friends from, where was it, Stanford? I should know this.
Where he went to
from
college?
Duke, rather.
Yeah, sorry.
That helped like create this, special brace that was going to let him play through a broken leg. And then he tore his Achilles like a game and a half later, and no one was like, maybe these are connected? Maybe you shouldn't have been playing on the broken leg. We're all giving your buddies a ton of credit for their great brace, and your career was kind of altered forever 2 games later. Like, no one's seeing that there's a connection here?
I mean, the baseball.
You start using one leg a little more, and it's like, whoa, it's a different leg. Yeah, because you're making up for the other leg that's freaking broken.
I mean, just same thing happened to Lindsey Vonn. It's like skiing on a torn ACL, and her body's different. She's not as stable, and she shatters her leg in a way that she'll maybe never recover. Like, it's called cascading injuries, and like it really like one thing affects the other thing, and like playing with a broken leg, I'm sure affected the.
This
Achilles.
is why Ian makes the big money. This is why Ian went out of his way to get here before the winter storm. That's how much he wants to be on NFL Daily, that he flew to Florida to fly to Indianapolis from New York because he was afraid of getting stuck in the winter storm and missing NFL Daily. And so that's the type of person.
Yeah, that was the
that has Olympic
yeah.
takes.
I will say, interestingly enough, flying for 14 hours doesn't make you feel the greatest.
Yeah.
Interestingly, yeah.
You're being very generous with your time. I have a lot to get through. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back.
You have
we're
commercials?
We're going to fly through.
Obviously,
in
I'm
real
a huge
life,
fan.
we don't have to take
I'm
a real
huge
break.
fan of this show. Obviously, I watch a lot, so I know.
I mean, it's more of an audio thing, but you can check us out on YouTube. Back in a second. Back on NFL Daily. Back in Super Bowl week, we talked to Kyle Hamilton, and he was there with Visa, who teamed up with Kyle Hamilton to spotlight the communities that power game week, especially the small businesses in neighborhoods where culture happens. Through the launch of the Visa and Main platform, Visa is helping local businesses get the visibility, tools, and support they need to capitalize on major moments like the Super Bowl and stay long after the crowds head home. Ian is barely paying attention to me. He's looking at his phone, but he's still giving good takes. I was trying to lead to before about get a man that can do both, that you had good Olympics analogy. Did you have a favorite Olympics moment? I don't think we've mentioned the Olympics one time.
I mean, you're really not?
I don't think it just hasn't come up.
It was, I love the Olympics, but I was in Deer Valley skiing, and like
rich guy problems.
Poor athlete problem is really the problem. Not poor athlete, mediocre athlete. I couldn't watch as much as I wanted to. I mean, the Olympic, the Olympic gold medal win for the hockey team was an all-time classic moment. And I'm like, I will nerd out like all of us do. Like, the call was amazing.
Call was great.
Like, these are things I get weirdly nervous about. Is like, great moment. You only get one shot at it. I know you have a spotter, but like, hockey's fast, and like, you don't quite know, like, is it a goal? Is it not? Guys streaking down the ice who score, like, it was amazing.
Incredible.
Too.
I mean, to be fair, both Olympic golden goals were great. I wasn't as big of a fan of the call on the women's one, but the women's one was better. I mean, I was making that's an all-time. I mean, they're both all-time goals, but to pull a one-on-one move off like that to win the gold medal, that's an even better moment.
Olympics
but they're both
great.
incredible.
I wish it was when I was sitting
Fair.
in front of a TV paying more attention.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the Eagles.
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything on the Eagles specifically. First of all, since we last taped, Lane Johnson is returning to the Eagles this year. We don't know about Landon Dickerson. There's been reports that he's considering
Pretty beat up.
retirement.
Pretty beat up.
Multiple trade options here. Tanner McKee, A.J. Brown, a ton of free agents. Dallas Goedert, Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean. I would throw in, and I haven't asked you this off, Mike, so it's going to be tough for you to answer it on.
Will it be tough?
I would throw in Jalen Carter as a really crazy trade candidate if someone wanted to come. Are they willing to, go the extra mile and pay Jalen Carter like a ton of money? Now would be the time. I just feel like the breadcrumbs are telling us the Eagles are going to go nuts this offseason.
What does nuts mean?
Just
Are you talking get rid of guys or bring in guys?
Both.
Because like
Both. I just
they
think
can do it.
Be extremely active in free agency, getting rid of guys, getting guys, trades that they're going to be trying to win, of course, but that the team you see in 2026 is going to look a lot different than the team you saw in 25.
I think that's probably right. Now, trading AJ, anything's possible, but it doesn't really help them. It really doesn't. It costs a lot. It's hard on the cap, and he's a great receiver. And so, like, I understand, and him and Jalen, from what I'm told, are in a much better place now than they were almost at any point last year until week, 14, 15, 16. So I don't know that they have to do it. Now, if you'd asked me in week 8, I would say you have to do it. I don't know that they have to do it now. And just, money, you would have to give them away and pay for it. I don't know, because of all the extensions they give them, I don't know that really makes sense. It can happen. Now, the Jalen Carter one is an interesting one because he is a great player. But to have great players, you have to pay them the money. So what does he make? $32 million a year? If you pay him, who do you not pay?
Right.
So
they do have the 5th-year option with him, so that can kick,
right. But every year,
yeah.
when a team, they go for it every year, and so when you do that, you pay for everything. And so, Dallas Goedert, I don't know what's going to happen, but generally when a player takes a pay cut one year, the next year they go somewhere else. That's just so. I do think they'll be active. I just don't know. I don't know that it'll be as crazy as we all were anticipating, but we'll see.
I have some more teams, but now that you mentioned some of the players there, and Jalen Phillips specifically, I might just rip through some free agents.
Jalen Phillips,
See what
very
you think
interesting. 2 sacks.
Yeah, that was the one response. I do send my list out to various dignitaries, including yourself. You were the last person to respond, but that you sent a response at all, I appreciate it. And the only response was Jalen Phillips, really? 2 sacks?
I mean,
Was it only 2 sacks?
It was
I feel
2.
like it was 3 or something.
I mean, he had 2 sacks. I think he had 2 sacks for the Eagles. He is a really disruptive player who made a splash and then didn't do much after. But those guys get paid. What
5
was it?
sacks total. But
Three before, right?
Ton of pressure. Pressure is production.
Agreed. He is going to get paid, but it's going to be really interesting because they don't need to justify anything. They don't. But you could justify that trade by giving him big money. But and you've seen him in your system. You've seen him with Fangio a couple times. Fangio's coming back, which I definitely wasn't sure about for a while. So paying him makes a lot of sense. The production, how do you calculate the value is going to be really interesting. He'll get paid, though.
To me, he has a lot of similarities to guys that they used to pay back in the day. Now, he might cost more because now he's getting to free agency, which is the first Josh Sweat contract or Brandon Graham's contracts all throughout the years, where guys who didn't rack up a ton of sacks but were really complete, versatile players.
And seems like a good guy. They liked him a lot. That keeping him makes sense.
He had a monster year in Miami. It was just a few years ago before those injuries happened. So he's not just a one-hit wonder. You thought Linderbaum is an interesting situation. And do you have any? If you have any possible teams for any of these players, just throw them out there. Phillips,
I do
Linderbaum.
not. I do not like to do that. I don't like to play that game because then teams are like, "Hey, why would you say this?" And then agents are like, "Why would you say this instead of this guy?" And I'm just like, I don't.
When you say things, it makes news.
Right.
It changes the prediction markets.
Yes, I care greatly about the
dangerous.
prediction markets. Maybe I should. I don't know. But there's plenty of people who will say like this team should sign this player, and then it becomes a whole article. And so anyway, Linderbaum's interesting.
I mean, that's literally, I do that all the time. I
really?
just did one with Bill Barnwell.
Whoa, I had no idea.
It was a good podcast.
The Linderbaum's interesting because he cannot get tagged. It's a tackle tag, right? And so what's the tackle tag?
It's 28 or
Yeah, something. I mean, not going to be that, but
it's offensive lineman tag.
Right, but it's really guards get tagged only when they're Trey Smith, and that made the guard market go crazy, and everyone else was like, seriously, but you had to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Linderbaum is the top center. He's a really good player who the Ravens should want to keep and feel like they have to keep, but every year they've let a couple offensive linemen go and figure it out.
They haven't seemed that interested in keeping him. They didn't
No, that's not
fifth year
true.
option.
They didn't fifth year option him, but they have tried to negotiate with him.
Sure.
His agent is very difficult to negotiate with.
Ooh.
Neil Cornrich is the agent, and his method is basically just not responding.
We all have someone like that in
which
our
is
life. It's pretty good negotiating.
Baller
to be
move.
honest.
Yeah, I mean, right.
It's like trying to get Ian on this podcast.
I would think. So they've done deals. Eric DeCosta, the way he does things is kind of like Howie Roseman. He's very aggressive, and he will keep at it. So they locked Ronnie Stanley up. I think it was like the Saturday before free agency last year. Is that right? Something like that.
It might have even been into the negotiating window, unless it was all tampering, because the reporting afterwards was kind of like the Patriots drove up the price. But maybe that was behind. You're right that it might have happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
They're talking this week,
it's sort of
yes.
like. Anyway,
I do like that's one thing that's changed over the years. Maybe you can give us some context. Florio used to always, my old boss Mike Florio used to always be banging on about this. Oh, they're tampering in Indianapolis. Oh, can you believe it? Agents are talking to players and teams are talking to agents. And now it's like no one cares. It's just the NFL was like, we don't care, Florio. We're just gonna allow this. What's the problem?
I mean,
some rules are meant to be broken.
I officially have no stance.
It's like driving 75 in a 65.
Right. I officially have no stance given where I work, but I'm sort of not really sure I see where the problem is.
No, I don't think there is a problem. The only you have to have a start date at some point, so it's always going to be before.
Right, people are like, well, they should just open up free agency at the tampering window. I'm like, okay, well then they would just start talking.
And they kind of have.
That.
They kind of have
whatever
done that. I'm going to throw out just some different names.
Okay.
See if any strike your fancy. Mike Evans, Rashid Shaheed, Tariq Woolen, Aaron Rodgers. Like any of those stand out as going to have particularly good markets, bad markets stand out to you? Like could Evans actually leave for one?
I mean, anything could happen. He should finish his career in Tampa.
Okay.
I mean, he should, and I don't mean like he should. It would be right in the world. Now he might get enough dollars where he could go, and it'd be one of those like, Emmitt Smith in a Cardinals uniform type deal. But the Bucs take care of their guys. I mean, they've had Levante.
See him with the Eagles if they traded A.J. Brown.
You could see him with any team.
With the Chiefs.
Literally any good team.
That would be good.
Any good team. Chiefs receiving core will be interesting to watch in general.
Sorry, I asked the question in the middle of that. It was Evans, Shaheed, it was Reek, it was Rodgers.
Shaheed should be a Seattle re-sign. I mean, that makes too much sense. Rodgers should be a Steelers only.
For
sure. Imagine. What else did you say?
They should be a Malik Willis team, but I don't think they want to be. I said Tariq Woolen. The cornerback market's going to be interesting. Have you heard of who is potentially at the top of that? So some options. Okay. Jalen Watson from the Chiefs has had a good career. Alante Taylor of the Saints is an interesting player. Jamel Dean is out there. Nashawn Wright made some All-Pro teams this year. And then Tariq Woolen.
So Tariq Woolen is sort of interesting to me because I thought last year midway through that Seattle was going to trade him. I felt like he maybe fell out of favor a little bit and maybe the scheme wasn't great. But he kind of kept at it and kind of started playing better. And then they were like, we cannot lose him. And that was interesting to me. And I don't know that he's staying, but a lot of good tape at the end of the year on him. I think he should have a good market. I think Jalen Watson has the potential to get a nice deal, and people be like, who the heck is this guy? Jamel Dean took a huge pay cut with the Bucs last year, which they wanted to start two young guys, and came back with a excellent season. I could see him, maybe he goes back to the Bucs, anything's possible, but could be one of those final pieces to a good veteran playoff-ready team. He's been through it. He's played great last year. He's a veteran, but not too old.
I'm making you work here.
It's okay. Familiarizes me with free agency.
Well, do you have some surprise? Do you have some? You're mentioning guys who people don't know that might get a ton of money. Does anyone pop up?
I don't work like that. They don't all. I don't. They don't all swim around in my brain. If you mention, I can respond.
I am like that too, where I struggle. I'm showing you the list. Boye Mafe, I think, is going to get a lot here. Devin Lloyd, I think will be good.
Devin Lloyd will be good. I'll tell you what. I mean, Isaiah Likely is interesting too because he doesn't have the production, but it's obvious why he doesn't have the production. So I think he's going to do well.
I won't put you on the spot here. I have more specific stuff I want to get you before you go. Maxx Crosby. Do you think in the end he gets traded?
I don't know. I really don't. it's going to be a while because rarely do guys get traded when they are coming back from many month injuries. And so that's why, like, I thought, I mean, who knows? Maybe all my reports are dumb, but I thought it was an important thing to report during the Super Bowl because, like, I don't think people knew how serious his injury was. Now, he's doing great, but, like, you know, if you trade for him and then, let's say you pay him, you know, somewhere around where Mike is getting, like, you want him to be healthy.
Older player, too. Yeah, guaranteed his money this year, and then you'd probably have to tack on some new stuff.
Right, but, like, you want him to be healthy, so that might be, like, around the draft or maybe even before the start of the season. It's going to be, so, like, the timing is, no, look, he could get traded tomorrow. Who knows? But the timing could be interesting because let's say it's before the draft, okay? You got Fernando Mendoza coming in. You've seen what this coaching staff and GM can do in free agency. They, I'm sure, are going to target a actually good offensive line. They're going to make it quarterback friendly. Defense, they got some pieces anyway, but let's say they improve their team. I wonder, and you know, they're going to try to keep him. So at that point, does Max go, I want out, or does he go, all right, fine, I'm in one more year? Like, I don't know the answer to what he's going to say after all that.
I thought it was interesting. There was like a list of teams, this was from the NFLPA, who have to spend a certain amount of cash this year, you know, to hit that 3-year average. It's too complicated a rule that I don't totally understand to even get into here, but basically you have to hit an average of money that you've spent over a rolling 3-year period. And the Jets, Saints, Seahawks, Raiders, both LA teams, and Titans were the teams that have to spend like over a certain amount of cash, like $50 million more than the rest of the teams.
I mean, the Rams are interesting because they have some of their own free agents who are going to get huge deals coming up. You know, like the Kobe Turners of the world.
Right, they could spend it on their own guys.
Could spend it on their own guys.
Eventually,
I mean,
Jared Verse,
Verse would be another one. I mean, they have
Puka.
Interesting offseason for Puka.
I mean, it's just been, an interest. Why do you say that?
No, it's just he's been in the news a lot. The internet loves him.
I don't know if love is the word that I would use. Do you think DJ Moore gets traded? Have you heard anything about the Bears in particular, who have a lot of cap issues? Not a lot of defensive backs coming back to their team. Like kind of a lot going on. I think them and the Patriots are very interesting in like, okay, how do you pivot off this surprisingly good year one with these new coaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think last year they did an underratedly awesome job. Mm-hmm. Didn't like what was out there in the offensive line market and said, you know what, we're just going to trade for 2 guys. And I thought, you know, Ryan Poles does not get universally loved. I thought he crushed it last offseason and set themselves up for big success. They'll have to make some decisions. DJ Moore, I mean, that one would make sense. But, like, could also make it work money-wise. You know, like, I don't know. If you say to me, like, well, the Bears need to do this, like, what do they need to do?
I think
have another good draft year, and like, what do they need?
Pass rushers and defensive backs, because half of them are free agents.
One of the top defensive backs is their own free agent.
Yeah, Kevin Byard is also
actually
a
2 of them.
free
Now
agent.
that I think about it.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's lower on the list, but I don't know.
Kevin Byard, was like a minimum guy a couple years ago. He's like the best dude too.
Jaquan Brisker is a free agent. They have a lot of work, and they're like way over the cap right now. See, I'm giving you good information.
Are you, though?
You could go to overthecap.com and find out about that. How about the Bills and the Chiefs? Do you have any, like, overarching thoughts of, like, the 2 most consistent teams in the AFC over the last handful of years and how they are going to attack this offseason? You mentioned earlier the Chiefs and the receiver group. Yeah,
I mean, I think, you know, I was not surprised that they shuffled their offensive coaching staff. I was not surprised they brought Eric Bieniemy back. You know, there was certainly some frustration last year with the receivers. They fired the receivers coach. That generally shows that. Rashee Rice, who's also been in the news some, on the football field is a very, very good player. But, like, inconsistency around. Like, Hollywood Brown, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Free agent. Tyquan Thornton, I think he's going to have a nice market. But, like, they have a chance to kind of rebuild that with some really good mid-level guys. Kelsey, you know, what happens there.
Do you think Kelsey and Rice are on the team?
My guess is probably, but I don't know why Rice wouldn't be. I mean, if you say, like, are they going to trade him? Like, I don't know that would happen.
Hmm.
And Kelsey, he's been seemingly pretty positive about the hire of Eric Bieniemy, making me think he's coming back, but you like to work out a deal too, and they got some cap problems
You
themselves.
said you weren't surprised that they made changes. Should that worry Giants fans that they now have the offensive coordinator that the Chiefs had?
No. The running back and receiver position coaches. I think Matt Nagy intentionally put himself where he is. I think he was with Andy Reid. I think they were really good until last year when they were not as good. And there was a lot of reasons they could be not as good. Offensive line had some issues. I mean, there's a lot of things, injuries, a lot of things. I think Matt Nagy wanted to be a play caller and was like, I'm going to take a risk, put myself out there and be a play caller and see if I could be a head coach, and that's what happened.
All right, it worked out.
Yeah.
Couple more for you. Is Christian Wilkins a name you've heard at all? He kind of was brought up on our show, and I was like, oh, yeah, Christian Wilkins, who was like top 5 on this list a couple of years ago. Like, is he...
Got paid, got a great
I didn't know
deal.
whether to put him in the top 101 or not. Is he helped? Like, have you heard... Is any team going to sign Christian Wilkins?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would need to look back at his contract situation and see...
He's free and clear at this point.
Are they not...
The Raiders got out of the guaranteed money business. They're paying dead money to him. Sometimes
Well, I don't know if
send
the
you
Raiders got
tips.
out of the guaranteed money business.
You usually are the one giving me information, but sometimes I'll send you and be like, hey, you should check on
Every once in a
the
while.
Christian Wilkins thing. Now I'm blowing it because it's going to go on the podcast. But, I was like,
No, I'll check.
Just check on
I'm gonna check.
Christian Wilkins. If you send a tweet out about Christian Wilkins, I actually think it'll be a medium hit tweet.
I think you're probably... If he signs.
Medium.
No, I mean, he was...
No, I don't even mean signs, but just be like, hey, he's healthy, he's ready to go, there's some interest,
If
whatever.
he is, I mean, at the time, remember, it was a fight over surgery because he didn't want to have surgery, and they wanted him to. And then
Also, there
there was also a lot of stuff happening.
was a report that, there was
A lot of stuff
teammates uncomfortable with
There was
him.
a lot of stuff
I don't know if any of that was true.
Was that this year?
That was last season.
Seems like 1,000 years ago.
It does. You know what else does? The Starbucks incident that you had back at the Combine a year.
I'm going there right after this.
Are you worried or?
I wasn't worried then. Why would I be worried now?
I thought it was like a little much. The NFL Network, with so much going on at the company and everything, decided to provide like a 4-man security detail everywhere you go. Just
Could you imagine?
Afraid of Schultz, big Jordan Schultz coming around the corner.
He is taller than me.
He is tall in general.
That was still
that's
the
not-
weirdest thing to... It wasn't the weirdest thing to ever happen to me, but it was the weirdest thing to happen to me lately. That was still like... People laugh at my reaction because I literally just stood there like this, like what on earth is happening? Because that's what I felt like.
As someone who has annoyed
A
plenty
lot
of people. No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about
No,
myself.
I'm talking about you too.
Yeah. And not the biggest guy. I have been in this situation, including even at work, with an old, I'll say rival of yours, happened once. And it is a tough situation because you're not going to, what are you going to do? You're just going to like try to talk it out. In this case, you were very surprised by it, but like it's you
Completely
know,
confused.
I know right away it's not going to help me out to like try
Well, I'm
to
also-
be the man here.
I mean, that's not... I mean, I haven't fought in a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's certainly not going to be my world. I was just mostly confused. I kept being like, Uber stock? Like,
Right,
is that something that's in the realm of possibility that someone offers players Uber stock for scoops?
In hindsight,
Couldn't even believe it.
It's a bizarre story. Yeah, for some background, Jordan Schultz, who also breaks news, does NFL news, confronted you with an accusation that you were telling people that he was trading Uber stocks for information, which is a wild claim to just come out of nowhere. But I was trying to make the point though that you're going to be a free agent coming up soon, and just hear me out. You did a podcast with Andrew Marchand, and he brought up how your contract's coming up soon, and you were saying you're excited that with this new ESPN world, maybe you and Schefter can be like the Avengers coming together.
Well, we have me, Mike, Tom.
Right.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm just putting it out there. We have our iHeart executive here, Jason English. They've been great partners for NFL Daily as you hit free agency. What about NFL Daily insider Ian Rapoport? We could get in this mix. I don't know
Could you?
financially. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. It's
What
not
are we
up to me.
offering here?
Well,
What are we talking about?
That's an off-camera. That's an
I
off-camera
used to-
conversation. But they've been great.
I
Free
used to
Starbucks.
have a podcast back in the day.
Right. We can give you. You could. Yep. Maybe you could have your own pocket. You could
Could
certainly
I take
have
your
like,
place? Maybe I could take Gregg's place.
No, but you could have a regular part of the. You could be a regular part of the.
There you
just
go.
Just the thought.
I have no idea what's coming. I am very excited about it, though. If the ESPN thing works out, I think the possibilities are really, really good. From what it sounds like, everyone should be pretty optimistic.
That's a good way to look at things, and a good way, I think, for people just
Also, reality, I think.
to look forward. Like sometimes you kill yourself worrying about things that you're not going to change the outcome of until they happen. So just be optimistic. I was optimistic about how long we would get Ian, and look, it happened. We did 45,
just didn't stop
50
asking questions.
Strong minutes. You had great answers. We will be here all week. There was some other minor news out there, and we'll hit all that on Tuesday's show with Jordan Rodriguez. We also are planning to have a couple guests. Some GMs are going to sit down with us, and so we'll go over all the news that is coming out of Indianapolis. For Ian Rapoport, I'm Gregg Rosenthal, and we will be back from Indianapolis on Tuesday.